I think the word charisma. Do you know the name of the president of Switzerland? I don't. That's a good sign. Don't overrate charisma, because charisma, too many charismatic leaders have, that is down the drain.
Leaders need to be a little bit bombastic, and they need to be a little bit egocentric, and they need to find their inner Leo, for example. And I think trying to suppress these creatures and telling them that it's not cool to be that little bit more pushy is wrong. I really think you have to embrace the pushy ones as well as everybody else.
One aspect of leadership that's overrated is the idea of knowing it all, that you have your position because you know everything better than others in the organization. If you do, you've built the wrong kind of team. You want a team where they know what they are doing better. And then you're the leader that guides them, that's building the institutions and the platforms for making use of that knowledge and in a productive way.
What I've seen is that most leaders, as they mature and take on more and more responsibility, they also desire to have more control over what's going on in the organization. They and therefore put in place more processes and more policies to make sure that they can actually drive everything that's going on in the company. That's fine if you're leading a manufacturing plant. That's fine if you are working in a safety critical industry. But if you're going for a culture of innovation and agility, you need to let go of some of that control. You need to get really good employees in there and then dare to lead with context, not control. And to say things like, you know what, in this organization, we don't seek to please the boss, we seek to do what's right for the company.
One of the qualities of leadership that I believe is overrated is the need to be certain. Too often we want leaders who are decisive, have a vision, who push for that vision. Sure, that can be important, but it's often not what leaders need. Leaders need to listen, they need to be humble, they need to be open to changing their mind, and they need to be certain when the time calls for it, but they need to be uncertain when the time is necessary to learn, when that's what is needed in that moment, is to be open and learning. Uncertainty can be actually an incredibly important leadership quality.
I've had the chance to interview and research and work with some of the best leaders on planet Earth, and systematically they tell me that at best, a little over 50% of the time, they make the right decisions. These are the best of the best leaders. And what's cool about that is they know they're going to be wrong almost half the time, which makes them more attentive and watchful and observant of the implications of the choices they're making. And because they're paying careful attention, they pivot faster when what they thought was the right choice was actually wrong. And they solve the situation.
I told you, I already said so, humility. It means just behave normally, you're already crazy enough.
Too often when we want leaders who are confident, decisive, certain, but actually humility, the ability to admit that you don't know everything, that you're still learning, that people on your team, in your organization, in your network actually have something to teach you, is such an important leadership quality because it allows you to continue to grow and it allows you to continue to help your organization and your team to grow.
As today's world is changing, we need to move away from thinking of our organizations as families and start thinking of them as Olympic teams. Now, in an Olympic team, your role as a leader is to get a really good person in each spot, the right skills, the right attitude, the right collaboration, and then foster excellent teamwork. But it's also your job to make sure on an ongoing basis that you're always looking carefully to see, is this still the right person for the right spot? And if you can get that right, if you can get the right person in each spot, and then get maybe a little candid feedback going, now you're able to give your employees a lot of freedom, and you'll see a lot more initiative taking in the organization.
I think the most important quality for a leader, whether in business or any kind of organization, in politics, is to have a vision of the future that and has the capacity to talk about it in such vivid, real terms that it focuses minds and it also energizes the team, and so that they're happy to go through all the troubles, all the failures.
I think you've got to make people feel good about themselves. So maybe one of the hidden gems of leadership is empathy. Not just to listen to others, but to actually be concerned about others. Because listening you can do as a very passive idea. But actually to say, you know what, that's a good idea. Come on, you've got it in you. Just dig a little bit deeper. So it's a combination of empathy and a little bit of pushing forward. I think that's probably underrated.
A bit of a hidden gem for leadership comes from insight from a Thai monk named Thich Nhat Hanh, where he says, people must truly care for other people in such a way that the other people feel free. And if everyone does that, we have the freedom to be able to create incredible futures together.